Okay, we are going to work on the activity on page 86 in your textbook right now. It's a logic puzzle starting with clue 1. Pythagoras had his contribution named after him. He was known to avoid eating beans. Well, if Pythagoras had his contribution named after him, then it must have been the Pythagorean theorem, which means that it was none of the others, and it means that none of the other people came up with the Pythagorean theorem. It also says that Pythagoras was known to avoid eating beans, so he did not eat beans, which means none of the others apply for Pythagoras, and none of the other people work for did not eat beans. Clue 2. Albert Einstein considered Emmy Noether to be one of the greatest mathematicians and used her work to show the theory of relativity. So that means that Emmy did work in the theory of relativity. So that's true for her. None of the others work for her, and none of the other mathematicians did work for the theory of relativity. Clue 3. Anaxagoras was the first to theorize that the moon's light is actually the sun's light being reflected. So that would be he would have studied by moonlight. So that's Anaxagoras studied by moonlight, which means that nothing happened for the other ones, and none of the other people studied by moonlight. Clue 4. Julio Ray Pasteur wrote a book at age 17. So for Julio, we know that that's true. We can put a circle there. None of the others worked for Julio, and none of the other mathematicians wrote a math book at age 17. Clue 5. The mathematician who was fluent in Latin contributed to the study of differential calculus. Okay, so fluent in Latin could either be Maria or Emmy. And it says that they studied differential calculus. Well, the only option between Maria and Emmy is Maria. So Maria must have studied differential calculus and was fluent in Latin, which means that none of the others are true for them, and I can cross out all the way down for both of those. Clue 6. The mathematician who did work with n-dimensional geometry was not the piano player. So for n-dimensional geometry, it was either Anaxagoras or Julio. And it said that it was not the piano player. Well, the person who played piano must have been Emmy, and we already knew that. Okay. Clue 7. The person who first used perspective drawing to make scenery for plays was not Maria or Julio. So the person who used perspective drawing was not Maria or Julio. Well, the only options are Anaxagoras or Julio, and it said that it was not Julio, so it must be this person, which means that that's not true for that one, and this must be true for Julio. So I didn't even need this down here. So to summarize, Maria Agnesi studied differential calculus and was fluent in Latin. Anaxagoras studied perspective drawing and studied moonlight. Emmy Noether studied math for theory of relativity and also played the piano. Julio Ray Pasteur studied n-dimensional geometry and wrote a math book at age 17. And Pythagoras studied the Pythagorean theorem and did not eat beans.